Most professionals attribute career bottlenecks to a lack of technical competence. We assume the promotion or the project failed because of an unfamiliar software suite or an unmastered engineering formula. Looking closely at actual points of failure reveals a different root cause. Progress is more frequently obstructed by inefficient internal regulation or corrupted data transmission between people. These behavioral traits function as deterministic systems. Because they are systemic, they can be audited, reprogrammed, and optimized like any other professional workflow. The historical label soft skills is being replaced by the rigorous reality of execution and transmission protocols. To achieve consistent success, you must engineer a robust, programmable operating system to govern your professional actions. This operating system requires two distinct components working together: an internal auditing logic to govern your own output, and strict external communication protocols to interface with the rest of the organization. Mastering this dual architecture provides a structural foundation for professional efficacy and consistent network growth. System optimization begins with a ruthless baseline self-audit of your internal processing core. You cannot improve the performance of a system if its starting parameters remain unknown. This audit identifies specific data points within your professional identity, including your beliefs, unproven axioms, and your values, your rigid behavioral standards. We also track your background, accounting for how historical environments influence your current processing capacity. Mapping these variables isolates your structural strengths, high-yield output areas where you perform with maximum efficiency. Simultaneously, the map exposes your weaknesses, which are simply areas requiring immediate processing improvements. This data gathering separates objective ability from subjective preference. It clarifies the distinction between what you enjoy doing, your interests, and what you are actually efficient at doing, your abilities. Without this objective baseline, any further execution protocols will be misaligned with your actual capacity, leading to wasted bandwidth and eventual system failure. Following the audit, you deploy a specific execution algorithm to process your work, the SMART goal protocol. To register as a valid target, a goal must be explicitly specific and mathematically measurable. An input like studying 24 hours a day fails the realistic and time-bound parameters, making it an unexecutable command. When calibrated properly, the goal curve fits within defined achievable axes, turning a theoretical desire into a viable target. You maintain these targets using the time management matrix. This acts as the strict governor of your execution algorithm. The process is rigid. Organize incoming inputs, prioritize their sequence of execution, and rigidly control temporal allocation, such as enforcing hard 10-minute limits on distractions. By tracking output data, you can verify your goal progression against the initial baseline audit. Goals lacking rigid temporal constraints and realistic parameters are not executable professional functions. Optimized internal processing is ineffective without external transmission. Your results must reach other nodes to have professional utility. Interpersonal communication is a strict mechanical input-output loop. The encryption phase occurs when the sender encrypts intent. This is encoding, the process of translating thoughts into words. This data packet is pushed through a channel, like an email. During the decryption phase, the receiver decrypts the data, decoding the words back into a concept, and completes the loop by providing feedback to the sender. If the feedback fails to match the original encoded intent, a transmission error has occurred. Visualizing interaction as a mechanical loop allows you to isolate. In professional environments, noise is generated by human bias. Visual perception noise occurs when a receiver misjudges a peer's processing capability based entirely on their non-formal attire, creating interference that blocks the actual message. Past experience noise occurs when you adopt a defensive communication posture due to prior unrelated negative interactions with similar people. To bypass this noise, you apply a heuristic filter to sanitize the data packet, the 7 C's. The first stage applies factual parameters. The message must be clear in intent, concise in length, concrete by relying on verifiable facts, and correct by avoiding false claims. The second stage applies structural parameters. The message must be coherent with related points, complete without omitting essential details, and courteous in tone. Optimized transmission also requires accurate structural syntax. This involves using active voice, a sentence structure where the subject directly performs the action, like "I wrote the report," combined with parallel nonverbal signaling to control posture and volume. Rigorously applying the 7 C's heuristic forces raw human intent into a clean, uncorrupted data packet ready for transmission. In complex organizational networks, conflicting data streams and overwhelming task requests are inevitable. To survive, you must maintain an assertive state. This facilitates direct data transfer without resorting to aggressive dominance or passive absorption of the workload. The AEIOU model serves as a defensive firewall protocol. It allows you to systematically reject tasks while maintaining overall network integrity. You start by asking questions to assess true urgency and engaging the requester politely. You then include a logical reason for your denial and offer alternative routing or external referrals. Finally, you thank the user to conclude the protocol and cleanly sever the interaction. The AEIOU protocol transforms a potentially destructive interpersonal conflict into a systemic rerouting of company resources. With your internal bandwidth defended, you can actively expand your external network nodes to facilitate career progression. This is accomplished through the Connect framework, the algorithm for establishing new, active lines to other professionals. The first phase is C and O. Converse confidently to initiate the handshake, and open up to incoming data by listening sincerely. The middle phase is N and E. Network smartly by identifying mutual utility, and engage the node by sharing useful information. The sustainment phase requires C and T. Communicate regularly to prevent the connection from decaying, and tell those nodes about relevant new opportunities. Professional networking is not a byproduct of an extroverted personality, but the result of systematically executing the Connect protocol to increase a node's reach. Outsized professional success aligns with the simultaneous operation of these interconnected frameworks. Internal clarity, maintained through auditing, SMART goals, and time control, dictates the quality of your outward signal. That outward signal fidelity, refined by the 7 C's and defended by AEIOU firewalls, dictates your successful integration into a wider network through the Connect protocol. By treating human interaction as programmable architecture, any professional can systematically increase their efficacy.